Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Writers Chat. If you're here live with us, we're so glad you're here. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much. And be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and join our Writers Chat family. I am Norma Poor, and I'm joined by my co hosts, Melissa Stroh and Brandy Bro. And we are excited for our show today with our special guest. And to introduce our special guest, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa.
Good morning, everybody. We're so glad you're here with us on Writer Chat again after our long 4th of July celebration week, and that you're back and ready to jump back into Writer's Chat again. Um, Today we have a special return guest. Kathleen has been with us a couple times before, and we've always enjoyed her presentation. It represents BookBrush, which is a company that's always been so great for authors, and I know I have enjoyed all of the benefits and tools that they provide. But we're going to get into that a little bit more in just a bit before we dive in and let Kathleen just go at it. I'm going to give you a little introduction on her for those who maybe haven't met her before or don't know anything about BookBrush. So, Kathleen Sweeney is the Chief Operating Officer at BookBrush and has presented to more than 350 author groups. She loves helping authors discover creative ways to promote their books without making marketing feel overwhelming. She lives in central Illinois with her husband, three active boys, and the two most handsome cats on the planet. Her hobbies include eating tacos and turning socks right side out. And today she's going to talk with you about your marketing toolbox, hands-on with BookBrush. I just have to say, I love that bio, Kathy. It's great.
I don't do anything that's too serious, so I might as well, shout out the cats and just throw the boys under the bus for not turning their socks right side out. From there.
We can certainly relate there. Well, I
Yeah.
guess I'll just turn it over to you. You've got this, and I'm excited to hear what you have to share with us today.
Okay, awesome. Yep, I'm excited to be here. So I'll do complete screen sharing with live in BookBrush. My biggest rule here is no question is a dumb question. So, I've probably got some seasoned BookBrushers, some new folks. I'm going to do a nice overview because we are always kind of updating and adding things. So it may be that even some of you that use the tools are like, ooh, I wasn't using it that way. So we'll jump in and do those. So if you guys I'll try to watch the chat too, but we can ask questions as we go along because I know you guys all know each other really well. And I feel like sometimes that helps make sense of things as we're there. So we will just jump in.
Absolutely, and we'll try to keep track of the chat as well.
All right, perfect. And just a little about BookBrush. We had been in the author space since 2018, and we hit 100,000 users in 2024. So super exciting. A lot of people call us Canva for authors. So Canva is great, but because it's for everybody, it doesn't have as much authory stuff. So we've really beefed up all the authory content. And I'm also making authory a word. Might not even be one, but for today, it's a word. And so I'll just walk you through the tools and show you what we have to offer. And what our goal here is to make your marketing life easier because so many people just say, I'm not creative enough for the marketing. I don't think that's true. You just wrote a 90,000 word novel and created all these believable characters and built a whole world. You're creative. We have the tools to help that come out, in your graphics and things like that. So this is the main page in BookBrush. I think a lot of people might have paid plans, but I'll mention the different tiers that tools are on if somebody's interested in getting a plan later, and we'll just walk through. So stop me anytime there's questions. The first thing that I would like to show you will be the instant mockups because it is the most popular tool. People really like that one. So here on the main page, you can get to things most of the time in two different ways. In the top stripe, there's a drop down menu that says tools, and you can navigate there. And then over on the left, we have tools, and you can do the same. So we'll go into the instant mockups here. And these are what people would call flat lays. So we have currently over 4,000, and we add new ones each month. It's a really great mixture of physical books, ebooks, and all kinds of amazing different scenes. So Before we started recording, we were all talking about how we are roasting right now. If you need some fall themed images or stuff with snow, we would have those in here, and nobody can get those right now live. And I also think, for these types of images, people in the past thought you kind of had to set this up in your own kitchen or bedroom and sprinkle your rose petals and do that and try to take this glamour shot of your book. And that's not the case. So these are really easy for folks to use. So we'll just go through and I'll show you how this one works. On the left-hand side, it says step 1, choose your book cover, and there's a click to select book cover. When you click in there, if you're brand new, there's a little box to upload your book cover. That's going to be the front flat 2D cover, so super easy to bring in. If you've already been using the tools, they'll all be right in here for you, so you can just select your book cover. So you upload each cover just one time, and then it's there for you to use. So once you select that, it'll appear there so you'll know which one you chose. And then you'll go down to step 2 on the left where you're choosing, what images you'll see. Couple options here. There's sizes, and you can click the certain sizes. We've recently, so I'll point out recent additions, added a little more under the IG portrait. So that's that 4:5 ratio that you're seeing a lot on social media. And that's intentional because the square ones are nice, but they don't take up quite as much real estate on somebody's phone. So that 4:5 gives you a little more space when somebody's looking at it on their phone and fills it in nicely. The keywords, there's also preset keywords, seasons, some genres, things like that. But probably, well, I'll do a sample. So let's say you wanted romance. That would narrow it down to 586 at the top, and you get a more romancy feel here. All these different things, and you're just dropping your cover into those. Here, we'll take romance off, and we'll choose something different for sci-fi. So a lot different feel there. However, one of the newer things, and probably my favorite, is at the top of the search and filter, you can actually search by any word you want to. I think this really reveals a lot of hidden gems because when you're looking at 4,000 images, it's hard to find just the things you're looking for. So certain things you could look for, I mean, anything, but like color words. Let's say you have green in your book cover. So you're thinking, I think images with green would really help set off my book cover. If you type in green, that means that anything in here that has some kind of green in the description will appear. And suddenly you can see all of those different kind of images. If you type candle, for example, these are going to be a lot little heavier, darker, different kinds of things. And, I play around in here a lot and I'll type in different words and I'm like, I'm the one who approves every one of these and I don't remember seeing these images. So it helps you find different ones to pop out that can be, kind of fun there. So definitely check all those different things. Let's try blue and we'll do a set here. So if you have selected a word and you're ready, you're going to download some. So you come over here into the middle for step 3, and you're choosing your mockups. You click to select. So when I do that, let's do this one right up here. It doesn't necessarily go with the book cover I chose, but just so you get the idea. Each one I'm clicking, it's highlighted there. We'll do the one over here, come down here. So they are outlined in blue, so you can see. Now we have 3 levels of tools. These are on the gold and the platinum plan. There are some extra mockups that are exclusive for the platinum folks, and you'll see they have a platinum tag on those. If you came in here and said, my goal is I need 10 images, then you'll also be able to tell up here, it might be covered by our pictures, but in the top right now I have 5 selected. So that helps you keep track of if you got a little click happy, how many you have. But we'll go with those 5, and then we'll go down to the bottom where it says step 4, and we're going to download these. These are going to download in a zip file, so that's pretty handy for folks. And then you have 100% ownership of everything you download, and you could post those to social media. So we'll wait for that, and then you can prepare to be amazed. Click download. And you're probably familiar with zip files, but just in case, once you have that, what you need to do is click extract all. So zip compresses it so it's not ginormous for you when you download. And I think I clicked it. Oops. That'll be fine. There we go. And then I'll just go into my downloads. And I've already been doing oodles of things today, so we'll get that folder. And let me just change the view. Oops, in here. And I'll pull those up. So you did not have to set up anything, get your nails done, depending what it looked like. You know, some of these have hands and stuff like that, but it puts the book in all these different images right here that you're ready to work with. Go the other way. So that's the instant mockups. That is the most popular tool because they are really quick and speedy there. Any questions on that before I go to the next thing? Are we good to go?
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Perfect. Okay. So the two pieces of feedback that people give us about instant mockups are they would like to see their book cover in the images first and maybe do a little bit of editing. So we also have what we call up here at the top in this peach stripe, Instant Mockups 2.0. So that is also on gold and platinum. So, you know, all of this is available on gold, but we can go into the 2.0. It's kind of like instant mockups on steroids. It lets you see the book in there first and do some editing. Now, I've already been in here today. Oh, well, this is a pop-up on the site. I'm going to mention this at some point, and now we'll be fine. Included with a paid membership is our annual conference, and it's coming up at the end of July. So we have a promo to register for that. But if you were thinking about a membership, it'd be a great time because the ticket is free. It's Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, 15 marketing themed sessions, all included with your membership. Join on Zoom. You can wear your pajamas. It's pet friendly. I love all of that. And if you have a membership, definitely make sure you get signed up. You can opt in on your account page, but we're really looking forward to that. It is our 4th annual. So there's my bookmark on advertisement. And then we are going to create new here. So you can choose these individually. And if you click individually here, they'll start adding at the bottom and keep you a total. So if you're thinking, okay, again, I need 10 images, that will help you figure that out. And if you deselect, you can do that too. My favorite, though, are the collections. So if you click over here in the lower left, there are collections. These are little bundles. So when you are thinking speed, I need graphics built for speed because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing social media. These can work really well. So we've got this, for example, a springtime template bundle, 30 plus graphics. If we click that, now we have over 30 graphics ready to roll, and it works in the same format. So on the upper left, it says book. You'll select image, and your same book covers are here. So you can click your book cover. And then it's going to populate the book in every one of these, which is fantastic because you can see it. So we'll scroll, takes a little bit here. But it's great. Now we have 30 some graphics that dropped your book cover in. You can see them first. Some of them don't even have book covers. Maybe you're doing a clue of the week or a character quote or things like that. Sometimes you don't need books. If there's ones you're not doing, there's a little garbage can above each one and you can just discard. So you don't have to use those. But a really nice variety here, all set. Now, the thing that people do like to do is do some editing. So we'll go back up to the top for that here. And also above each one, there is a tiny pencil. So I'm going to go to the one where the hand is on the head here in the top left and see that pencil. So if we click that, it takes you into like a little mini version here of the custom creator. And that way you have access to on the left, the background, the book template. And book template is a place we really shine. We have over 300 3D versions. So you could swap out for something different if you want to. I would also like to point out that ebooks and the phones face every which way, whereas if you choose physical book, they're positioned pretty much so you don't see the spine. So we want this to be easy that you just bring in that front flat cover. There are some with spine. So if you choose with spine, then you need 2 images because you'll bring in, you can either make the spine in here or you'll bring in your spine. But we know people are moving quickly. So for the most part, you're just putting in that front and you can do that there. And then the text, Images and elements are all available to you. So like for text, you could click in the box here or double click. So let's say pre-order now doesn't apply because the book's already out here. So you could come on the left, take out your pre-order and change that to now available so that it pertains to you. And then one of my favorite little features, and I'm in Chrome, this works in pretty much every browser except Firefox. It's a tool we call our color picker. And right now, the primary color is orange. If you click that, there's a little eyedropper tool, and this is one of our magic things here. When you bring it over, whatever you're hovering on, it's going to match that color exactly. So there's your color code. So if you want things to be on brand for you without knowing the color code, instead of just saying, well, I better pick a green, it will nail that for you. Here, we'll try it again. Eyedropper, and we'll do the title. Bring that in carefully. It there. And when I click, it matches that color code exactly there too. So people really enjoy that color picker just for creating on-brand graphics. It helps with everything, keeping it cohesive, and people can recognize you just that much more because everything stays the same. So you could add more things if you want to add more books, swap things out, but at least that gives you an idea what you can do there. If you're all set, you can click in the top stripe for save edits and go back, and that takes you right back in here to your full batch. Now, this one we worked on has a little lock button on top, so it's locked. That means that because you spent time working on it, we kept it out of the mix for getting any other edits. If you want it to, you can unlock it, but we don't want you to override anything you did. The second cool thing in here will be bulk editing. So we talk a lot here, and you guys probably do too, about your branding and making sure things stay on brand for you. One of those things can be using the same font consistently. So where it says primary font here on the left, choose a font, and I'm going to choose something noticeable like Cinzel. So now this one is locked, so that one didn't get impacted. But all the other ones, wherever they were tagged primary font by our designer, it just changed to Cinzel or whatever font you chose. So here now you have 30 some graphics, all with your branded font. So speed, this is again built for speed. The thing you'll want to note is, especially like on this one where it says spring is warming up, different fonts are different sizes. So Cinzel may very well be larger than what was there. So if it word wraps funny, you can click that little pencil again and double click that text box. And your options would be to either, adjust so you can resize it that way so it word wraps all right, or just reduce the font size there, or change the words completely. And get that updated so it's something that works for you. And then these also download in a zip file. So you'd go to the upper right, click next, and download your whole batch there. And those would be ready for you to use on social media. I like this because you can add a little bit more of your personality. You could add prices, new releases, all of those things, and just make these work for you, but in a bulk format. So that's the instant mockups, the original and the 2.0. And then you just toggle at the top back and forth. So if you like the original, you can go back to the legacy, and then you can also do cool stuff in here and work in the 2.0 version. So any questions on instant mockups before we head somewhere else?
Not yet, just comments that they really love it. They think it's cool.
All right, good deal. We'll go to home in the upper left corner. So we're back on the home page. Next thing that we will look at will be the custom creator. And that's our flagship tool. It's the first thing we built, so it has a ton of capabilities, and we've been adding to it all along. Again, you've got your top stripe that you can do, or on the left for tools, and we'll head into custom creator. These you're doing one by one, but the possibilities are really endless. You've got your option to create from scratch or use templates, and we have all these sizes preset. So if you choose Facebook, for example, we have all of these sizes. Some of them you don't need a lot, like your cover photo, but there will be times you do. And then the dimensions are in pixels underneath. So you have all of those things. I want to call out a few really cool things. The Amazon A+ content I think it was like in the summer of 21 or so when Amazon gave access to people with their own KDP or access to their own KDP dashboard, the option to upload their own Amazon A plus content. And then the scramble was, how do we make those three stacked images flow really nicely? So if you chose the Amazon A plus, it's super cool because you've got this canvas here where you design it as one so it flows really nicely. And then when you go to download, it downloads in those three stacked modules that you need. So then when you hop over to your KDP dashboard, you upload those, but you flow nicely and you have all of those put together. Plus, you can save projects in here and come back and update them. So, for example, if you're writing in a series and you have your 3 books in the bottom module, when you have book 4, you can just come in here, date that, add book 4, and download again. So save your projects and you can save yourself some time later. And then other different things here, some sizes for Kickstarter projects, and under card, business cards, postcards. Under other, I like to highlight these. Several different sizes of bookmarks. So 3 sizes of bookmarks, and then the vertical and the horizontal for each one. Because if you print two-sided, you may very well want one side to be vertical and the other horizontal. So you can design all of that in here. Coasters, book plates. So I wanted to feel like this marketing toolbox has, every time you turn around something in the author space, it's like, ooh, I need that. And you can make that in here. With those, you would design it, download it, and then you'd send it to a printer or print it home. We don't have the printing part of it here. And then always custom. So if there's ever time you're thinking, well, I need to make something that they don't have a size for, you can enter your dimensions and pixels there and create that. So what I thought I'd do is we'll just design one together, like we were coming in here and saying, I need a graphic for social media. So I'm going to do the vertical, the portrait. So this is what they call the 4:5 ratio that you're seeing a lot out here. And that's in Facebook. That's going to be in Instagram. So the dimensions are the same. It's just under those different places here. And then you have the steps on the left that you can work your way through. So we have background, book template, text, images, elements, and we will use all of those in that project that we're going to do. And then if you're in here without me, there's a tips button at the bottom, and we have little mini YouTube videos. A lot of them are like 3 to 5 minutes with me showing you how to do a certain thing. And so if you're getting a little stuck or you just need some inspiration, this will link you right to those. Our YouTube channel has over 700 videos now. Fortunately or unfortunately for you, they're mostly me just giving you tips on how to do things, but I try to take it really slow so you can go through and get some ideas. So a lot of people like to watch those. Sometimes we put in outside of the box ideas, like at Christmas, we talked about putting a Christmas tree image in and then just putting little books where all the ornaments are. Super cute. Nobody else's looks like anybody else's because they're your books and you pick the tree. So, we try to give you some ideas. But for this graphic here, what I want to do is a review graphic. I think these are a nice idea for social media because it really helps like a word of mouth marketing. You're sharing what other people said. It's not you saying, hey, buy my book. You're just saying, hey, somebody else really loved this and you might too. And those are, you already have reviews. And so they're already there for you to use, kind of a nice way to say, when I'm planning my social media, I can do, 2 reviews a month. That helps me with week 1 and week 3. I'll do them on those Thursdays and I'm set. So take that one off your plate. So we'll just build that together. First thing we'll do is go to the left to book template. I like to start here because you get your book in there and you kind of build around it. One of the things I think is cool here are multi-devices. So a lot of these are single books and you can add them one by one. These multi-devices show the book in more than one format, which is good because people visually see, oh, the book comes in more than one format without you saying, whoop, the book comes in these different ones. So if we click, there's one right above the white one. It's got a physical book and a phone. So if I click that and then click my books, when you see the spinning, it means something good is happening here in BookBrush land. So we've got that. And then when you single click, you can adjust up here in the top with the slider. My favorite way to adjust is to hold shift and just drag. And I'm mentioning that, we'll double click too. You can do a slider over here, but I'm mentioning the shift and hold because if you just drag the side, it can get kind of wonky. Um, and if it happens, it's okay. There's an undo button here in the upper left to get back where you were. That's handy for like children's books and a few scenarios, but most of the time you want your novels to stay in proportion. So again, it's hold shift and drag and it stays, keeps the aspect ratio and stays in proportion. Next, we will go on the left to background. And in the background step, it sources from Pixabay. So when you search, you have access to, I think it's 4.4 million images on Pixabay. So usually you can find something. Also, you could upload your own or you could just do a color. But let's say we were going to look up grass, for example, here. Sometimes I like the understated background, so it gives you the color, but it's not competing with anything here. Things about when you look at the backgrounds, there's a tiny little oval with 3 dots. If you click that, it would hyperlink you to the person who placed it on Pixabay and the license and source. So if you like to check those things, you can check that there. But you can just click and it will pop that into the background for you. Um, if like this doesn't fit the whole space, you can come over here to the lower right. There's what we call an eyeball icon and it lets you see what's inside and outside. So I'm just adjusting that. You could also double click and there's a slider, but we just want it to reach all the way to the outside there and we can turn that back off. One other thing to note here in the background step, so these source from Pixabay, we can't control what Pixabay provides, but there is a tag. So I'm going to put it in under sci-fi just to give you a look. This is one place I see it. If it's an AI image, it will have a little AI tag. And I'm not voting for or against AI, but that way you're knowledgeable that what you chose there was tagged AI on Pixabay, so you'll know. So we've got our background there. And next we will go to add some text, add a new text box, and I'll type in, I read this book in one day. Okay, so that's really going to, the type of thing that gets people excited. Well, if someone else read that in one day, that might be the book for me. So then you'll click edit text style here, and you've got the full editing. You can also come over here into the text box and resize and adjust this way. I want to call out a couple things about the font. So in the font area, if you click in there, we'll have a lot of nice default fonts, but I'm pretty excited about the add more fonts at the top. That gives you access to, these are Google fonts, free for commercial use. We have 1,000 of these that you can search for. If you're looking for a certain one by name, you can do the alphabet search. So if I type in MO, it narrows it down to everything that started with MO. And if I saw one I liked, I can just click that and it will add it to the list. Also in this screen, we're in the free fonts tab. The tab next door, upload your own. So you can bring in your own. So if you purchased a font or you have your font from your book cover designer or whatever the case may be, or there's a lot of free font sites like What the Font and things, bring those in. And then they're just in your account for you, but you can use those too. So I'll click on that and it pops up for what I just added and I could update that one and change that if I want to. You could color pick. I rarely miss a chance to do color picking because I love it. And then hopefully if you keep your eye on, you can see I'm adjusting. There's text shadow, which is adjustable there. And we have a lot of fun with that. Now, what I would do with this is give the text somewhere to sit. And so you can come down into images or elements. We'll look at both. In images, we have 3 tabs. We have community stamps, and those are the ones that we put in here for our book brush community. So everybody can use these, and you might explore something like blank stamps. And I have a lot of fun with this piece of paper here. So I click the paper. I'm going to make it ginormous. And then these 2 little arrows will send things in front and behind. So we'll click, it goes behind the text and behind the book. And now you've got kind of a bookish feel up here. And if you wanted to see what it was, you can look at that eyeball and you'll see everything that's happening out here. So that's one option. I will go ahead and delete that and show you the second thing that might be cool are in elements. So you can use elements in here, and there's an option with these cover reveals, like you could create your own cover reveal, but you could also choose something like this. And I might not color pick, I might just use a lighter color in there. Make that really big. And again, we're sending it behind and position it up there. And that also kind of has like a bookish feel there. So we've added that. And of course, with your text, you can center it if you want to. You can change it to all caps, adjust the size and things like that. And then you may want I'm probably going to left justify that, another text box to highlight who gave the review. So in the text box section, click add another. And I will change that one to an Amazon review. I tend to like some of the handwritten for the person's name, or it's like a signature of that. So Alex Brush is one. It's in the full list of ones there, but I use that one quite a bit. Now we could either color pick, or I could just click back into this previous text box and copy my code. Click on Amazon review and paste that in. And this will be a great way to see the text shadow. See if we adjust that. Maybe you don't need much of it, so maybe we take most of that off. Reduce that down there. So we have our Amazon review. Actually, I think it needs a tiny bit of text shadow to match. How about that? And then your stars. So also in Elements, you can go into this rating section, see all, grab stars. We could reduce the size just a little bit if we want to. Color pick. And even though you think, oh, I could pick a blue or a green, if you're picking one that's in the cover in some capacity, that can work really well. And then with any of these things, you can duplicate. You can duplicate your text box, your covers, all those things. So if you wanted 2 stars, this is going to be cool, guys. We're going to take this one and make it just a little bit darker and give you a cool shadow by offsetting those if you wanted to. I do a lot of fun layering and things like that. And you could send it behind and have it go the other direction. So it's those 2 little arrows that send things in front and behind that are kind of fun. So I didn't time us, but we quickly created this review graphic and you are set. So your things to do here at the top would be click Save Changes. That's going to save it in your account so that you can, come modify it another time. And then you just go up to download, and that downloads as a PNG or a JPEG. PDF would really just be for covers. You wouldn't need a PDF in most cases here. So you're set. Now you've got your first review graphic. If you came back in here another day, so let's go to home here. Now it's another week in the month and you're thinking, I need another review graphic. Right here on the home page, all your projects are saved. Here's the one we just worked on, so we can click and go straight away in there. And maybe you're doing the same book, so you've got a little bit of a shortcut, but maybe you're not. So if it's a different book, there is a lightning bolt that will swap. So we could come in here, choose a different book cover, go to background. I'm going to search Alaska for this one, or pretending you're writing in multiple genres here. We can add this background here, we'll just delete one of the stars and color pick that one with the different green off of here. And of course, you'd want to change your quote and stuff like that. But look how quickly we were able to make the next one. And then here's the ticket. When you click Save Changes, 2 options here, and this is important. If you click Update, it will override what was there and save the new version, which is fine. But if you click Save as New, then it saves a new version and you have the both of them. So if you click on the left in your templates and saved projects, you've got both versions. And that helps a lot of times because sometimes people aren't certain. So they want to save several versions or, not lose their other work. So you always have the option to save new and save all those iterations as you go along. So that's kind of a quick high level. Other things that I've done here with like in the background, you could do a filter and change it to black and white. And it really kind of makes the book cover pop. Let me just take off that. Um, honestly, that's kind of interesting too. Maybe you just take the stars off. Let's look at the background. With the filter and without, it really changes where the reader's eye is going to go to what's in color. And so that's kind of a cool thing there. So that's a quick look at designing totally from scratch in the custom creator. Next, we'll look at templates and things there. But any questions for me, let me know.
I think we had one that we're going to save to the end. So other than that, because it was pertaining more to AI, I think we'll to keep on track
Okay.
with where we're at.
Yep. Okay, that's perfect. I just don't want somebody to say, well, how did you add that text box? And then we are miles away. So you can also duplicate your cover. So let's do a sample of that. If you came in here and let's do a physical book here. I'll add this one. I'm double clicking and holding shift to resize so I get the size I want. Click the plus button to duplicate and we'll duplicate it again. And then what we can do is use that lightning bolt to swap. I think I got my seasons out of order here. I'll rearrange them. And we'll do the lightning bolt on this one. So now you know you've got all three books the exact same size because you duplicated. And I could just shift those in here and you're set. If you were doing your Amazon A+ content, I would recommend that option too. Just keep duplicating the books so that they line up across there. And then as a per level higher thing, you can also add animation to any of these if you wanted to. So on each thing, like this text here at the top, um, anything at the bottom of the editing tools had an animation option. So if you wanted your text to fade in down, now I've got a play button at the top and you can add things like that. Anything that you add any kind of animation to, when you go to download, you'll also have the option for MP4. So the system can tell if you've used any of those things, a video, animation, those things, and you'll have an MP4. You can't add your own music in this particular tool here, but I don't really think that's a drawback because when you go to post on social media, you can choose the trending audio and you have a lot more choices there. We couldn't give you Taylor Swift anyway, but if because of copyright and commercial issues. But if it's available on Facebook and Facebook lets you choose it, then you are set. So I don't think it's a bad deal to create animations here and then do fun things over there too. So let's see here. We'll go back to ad size. We did everything from scratch here. If you're thinking, I like that, but that might be a little much for me, we can also do community templates. So for community templates, there are several thousand examples in here that a graphic designer put together. And the cool thing is they are completely editable. So everything you see in here, you can edit 100% and change. You can also filter on the left to narrow it down, and it can be multiple. Be mystery, thriller, and crime. You could choose some of those. And I would love you to explore this platform section because we've got all the things you were expecting, like Facebook ads and things like that. But there's also a whole section for bookmarks. So if you had thought, oh, I might want to do a bookmark, but I really don't know where to start, you can check those things. There is a whole section for a launch party, things like that. I would like to talk about these trope graphics. I see a lot of these on social media. These are brilliant because they answer the reader's question right there. Is this a book for me? Not is it a good book? Is it my kind of book? That's the person who you want to find your book. So these trope graphics, you can just list the tropes and the themes. So if you choose this template and all you do is sign in here, go into community templates and you can look around. We've got a variety of the trope graphics. So you click it like we just did and put it in the workspace. And then you have all the steps on the left and you just edit. So for this one, we would click the sample for the book template, click your lightning bolt, put in the book cover, and then grab your first text box. I double click that. I'm going to change that to Alaska setting. And I'm a font nerd. I would probably change it to a font that gives off a little bit more of a thriller vibe. Make that larger. Don't worry if it word wraps, you can just grab that. And then I'm double clicking and saying, okay, let's color pick that. And then your options for each text box are to click each one and change it, or just discard. Click the plus button to duplicate. Bring that one over here. You could rotate. There's this little arrow here. Duplicate again. We'll get rid of small town. And then, of course, change your wording. So you don't say Alaska setting 5 times because they get the idea. But, and the chances of our tropes being the tropes you need, it's like 0. So you'll just need to update to what's in your book. And you could color pick those arrows and all of that stuff too. The background, I would just go ahead and delete that. Now we have up till now been looking for images in the background, which I do like, but I also think sometimes a color is really powerful. So if we came in here and color picked something from the book cover, and then the gradient option is super cool. And we could also color pick that to, I mean, I know it's white, but it's like just a slightly different white. And this is really neat. For your gradient, you can change the direction. I'm a big fan of the center, and the reverse center is super cool. The good thing here is nothing is distracting. The background coordinates and looks nice, but nobody's eye is getting distracted by a too busy background. So all of the trope arrows live here in elements. So if you come to elements on the left, here's all those arrows. So you could substitute or add some different ones if you wanted to. Click that. Just click to resize or click and drag and then rotate, all of that and put it where you want it to be. So trope graphics don't have to be daunting. You can do those pretty easily from scratch or, using some of these community templates in here. I also like to highlight under collections, these vertical videos. People really like that. These combine music, animation, and video background all together. And so they do well on social media because there's something that appeals to each person's senses, the music, animation, video background. So I'll click one just as an example here. And then I'm going to push play. Melissa, just thumbs up me if you guys can hear it. So that's it. These are the down and dirty vertical videos. Literally, all you would have to do is go to the book cover, click the lightning bolt to swap, put in your book cover. If everything else works for you, then you can go to download and you have the MP4. The vertical video size is great because it fits the size of people's phones. So you're making the most of the space there and you don't have to do a lot. You can edit though, like if you wanted to change the text to, do you need a new mystery or thriller or whatever you want to change that to, you can edit those kind of things. But people have a lot of fun with those. And those are again in the community templates and they're under vertical videos there. There are animated email signatures that people work with. So, you could click that. These edit just like all the other ones. Click the text boxes, put in, I mentioned in images, we talked about the community ones. There's also a My Images tab. You can bring in your own logo, your own pictures. It could be your author picture. So if you need to bring in your photo and create email signatures, here's the thing. It is not actually a secret that authors email readers to sell books. Like we know this, but if you make your emails more interesting, so when the play button here, it just gives it something a little bit different. And you would just modify that and be able to download. You can also do these as static as well. So that covers a lot of what we have in the community templates. I'm going to show you a couple other tidbits here, and I'll make sure we're mindful of the time. Any other questions before I head back out of here?
Patricia came on and wondered if at some point you could show us your children's book options with and without spine.
For sure. Okay, so in book templates, if you go to the children's, there's all these different sizes, and there's some that are cover reveal in these, but keep in mind too that if you don't hold shift, it will change. So if we click this, this is not a children's book. But like when my boys have a stack of books, they go every which way. They're all these different sizes. So if you don't hold shift, you could adjust it to get it kind of where you want it to be that way. And then let's go to spine. These are not necessarily that size, but don't panic, because what we could do is I'll click one. Now, this is not hard, but they're actually instructions because you need to do two things. So you're going to add a spine. We are in the covers tab. You can go next door to the spines tab. If you have a spine, you can bring it in. If not, you can create one in our box set creator, but I have some spines I've created before. So I'll click one of those. So what happened here? Instead of it magically converting, you have to do step two. So image one is the spine, image two is the book cover. So from the spines tab, go back to the covers tab, pick your cover. And this is still going to be vertical, but never fear, we will just scrunch it down. And chances are the cover you brought in was this squarish or, oblong size, and you can make that work. The only thing is here, the spine would probably be a little thicker than you want, but some of the other ones don't have as thick of a spine. This one's a bit thinner here, and then the upside down one is really kind of fun too. So lots of options, and because you can modify quite a few things, there's things you could do in there. In community templates, under genre, we could go to children's. And some of these are just, it's tricky because there's probably some YA and stuff too, but you can take these and then change them by resizing the different things you want. But these are a little bit different feel. You don't get the romancy candles and stuff like that. I should also mention, if you pick a graphic like this and you go ahead and get it updated with your book and so forth, you can download this image. Then just click in here for the 7, 6 and download, 5 and download, 4, and so on. So if you're wanting to do that countdown on social media, that will take you very little time in here to design, because you're just swapping that out. And on any paid plan, you have unlimited downloads. So that's great because you can do a ton. You can also mess up. If you don't use it, you're not out anything. You can make lots of those things. Second cool thing, or millionth cool thing, this is vertical. If you also wanted a set for a different size, you could click back to add size on the left and then maybe choose, like, for example, the Facebook square. And then you're just going to click your things and fit it into that new workspace here. I'd probably resize these a little, but just for the purposes of this example. Now you have a matching graphic with all of the same elements. You didn't start from scratch. So it stays on brand for you, but it's the size you need here. So you can always just convert any size in this tool here. So that's custom creator. I've got a couple other tidbits to show you on the home screen, but Melissa, anything else that popped up, let me know.
Nothing so far.
All right. Who that uses BookBrush already knows about the brand kits? Anybody? Melissa, are you using brand kit?
I'm familiar with them.
All right. Here's why I think it's cool. So to save you time in your graphic life here, we created a brand kit. So in the upper left corner, you'll choose brand kit. And you'll have the option to do 3. So if you need them for a different series or different pen names. But for example, brand kit 1, open this twizzle up. This will take you a couple minutes, but you'll add your colors, your preferred fonts, all of those things, and you can do the other ones for your additional brand kits. And then we'll go back to home. We'll go right into this graphic we made here. So I use the color picker a lot of times, but we'll click on those stars, and this applies to anywhere you're doing a color. On the left-hand side, the primary color is the green. There is a little box with 2 circles those are your brand kit colors. So instead of color picking or fiddling with those, you can click directly here and it changes it to your brand kit colors every time. So we could click this, all that. Also, if we took the text shadow off or your text shadow, uh, could be your brand kit colors if you wanted a shadow in the same color. So lots of cool things with that. And then your fonts will be listed here. Your brand kit fonts will be first. And lastly, anytime you add a new text box, I'll click that. It defaults to, this is magic, guys, the primary font and brand kit one. So no more of that boring Fahala one. Like I see a lot of book brush graphics in the wild. I'm like, oh man, they didn't change from the base font. So we have the most general font that's good for everything, which I also think equals kind of boring because it's not genre specific. So we'd love to see you changing it, and this saves you from having to change it because you reset your default and it will, add exactly what you need every time. So brand kit is worth your time, in my opinion, to set up because then it saves your bacon over here time and time again. So that was there. Couple other of our full service things I wanted to highlight for you guys too. If anybody is just thinking, I'm tired of doing all of this social media. We have a full service option where we create all of the graphics and post 6 days a week for you. And there's an option to talk about that here. It's the social media management. We're taking care of what's trendy, the analysis, posting 6 days a week so you can do the thing you like, which is the writing. And it's a lot pricier. It's $5.97 a month, so that might not be for everyone, but I did want to mention if you're somebody who just says, this is not what I want to be doing, I want to do the writing, you could talk to us about the full service. And then we also have an a la carte option where you can hire us for individual projects, and that's called our hourly concepts. And you just order individual projects, you buy a package of hours and purchase the things. What we do a lot of there is Amazon A plus content. It looks really nice, and people don't always want to pull that themselves. So I'll show you the portfolio there. And these are just optional extras if there's anything that you'd like to outsource. But here's some examples of our Amazon A plus content that I think turned out really nicely. How do I scroll through here? So if that's ever something that you're interested in, we have options there. And then I wanted to talk about Bookmark on here too. I talked about it at the beginning, but it is 17 days away, so that's exciting. It's completely free for anybody that's on a BookBrush plan. And we have our speaker lineup. So Friday afternoon starts at 3 Central. We'll have 3 sessions then. And then Saturday and Sunday start at 9 a.m. And we go through all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and all of this. So would love to see you there. I know we have almost 500 folks already registered. And it's probably my most exhausting and most fun weekend that I have in BookBrush Land every year. So that's a lot of it. What questions does anybody have before we wrap up?
Um, is it with your color brands, are they only limited to the three, or can you put more colors in on your branding?
It's 3 on 3. So like 9 total, I guess, is how it would work. But it also lives and breathes. So if you had a series you're not working on right now, or you're working hot and heavy on the third one, just move that to the first one. It won't take you very long, and then that's your new default font. Or if you had a series that needed 6, just allocate 2 brand kits to that one for right now and just jot your color codes on a post-it note for yourself for later to update them. So yes, there's a max of 9 that you can use, but you could always change them up. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else with questions? Let me know.
Um, I guess we could jump back to that last one since we are coming close to the end.
Sure.
Concerning a 3D mock-up. She says, I'm an illustrator and create and illustrate all my own work, but recently shared a promotional post and it was labeled AI content. I put my cover into an AI program to get a 3D image. That's the only thing I can think of why it labeled my post. Have you had anyone ever find this AI content label with your program?
Not from here. And I post tons of stuff from here. I see it with people who used like chat and stuff to create them, and they are beautiful. But it somehow, the universe knows, the algorithms know. I don't know. So it does say that, but it doesn't from here. I've never seen that AI tag, and I do a ton of things here.
I think that's all the questions I see so far, unless another one popped in.
All right, awesome. Well, you can get a hold of us. Our email is support@bookbrush.com. If you're watching the recording or you think of a question later for me. We do have a lot of other author education. So down on this homepage, down on the left-hand side, if you go into the author education tab, we'll have a lot of our recorded workshops. Sometimes they're guest speakers, sometimes they're me doing a session on like holiday graphics or romance graphics. Last fall, I did like a pumpkin spice and social posts. And so that's just an hour of interesting things that were fall themed. And then from there, they're like, ooh, don't get her started on blood splatters. So if we have anybody that likes blood splatters, we did in October a killer graphics session, and you can watch that if you want to. So those are just, they'll link you to YouTube with just some think outside of the box ideas for folks. So that is that. We would love to have you check out the Book Brush tools. And hopefully we can make your marketing life a little easier with bookish and authory themed things every time you turn around in here.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Well, I guess, Brandy or Norma, if you have anything you wanted to say, or we can open the room and let people come in. I know we're getting to the top of the hour here. Oh, your mic is muted, Norma.
I see Patricia posted another question. Do you have a 32-page without spine view? That's her question.
Let's see. Like, I have a couple options for you. We'll just go into custom creator because that's the best way to get to those. And you can choose any size ad just so you can get to them real easily here. So in the physical books, there are some that are completely straight facing, so you don't have to worry about that. So if I clicked this and made this, because there is no look of the spine, then it's up to the imagination, and you could use your wording to explain that it's a short work. So hopefully that's helpful. And then, of course, all the ebooks would show it in a way that it wouldn't matter about the spine.
Yeah,
In the ads, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think in her context, she was still referring to like a children's book. So,
Oh, shoot. Let's see. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted it to look a little more realistic, tilted off the center. But for the paperback books, they don't have the spine. And I've not ever found a program that can give that.
Well, there's the one that's right there on the second tier down from where she whoops is now it's the top, where there's a little bit of a splay at the top, and you could resize that to a children's book size. So the one that's just to the left where her cursor is, see, it's got a little bit of a splay and looks very picture booky.
Let's test it. Yes. And I know the ones you mean. They're just like the slick. It does have a spine-ish
Just
thing.
a little bit, yeah, but it's definitely more picture booky.
Yeah. See, we're making up these great words. Authory, picture booky. And then if it was a little more of the elongated, you could adjust it that way too. And it'll look better because your book cover when you start won't be a vertical novel size, so it'll fit in there a little better. Not perfect, but I think it's pretty
Yeah, I just
pretty
haven't found
close.
anywhere that has that so it realistically looks like the book on the shelf before we have to do our orders.
I want to see this one here. Now that one's a little thick too.
Yep.
Yeah, everywhere it's like whichever way you tilt it, if it's built with that thickness.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have the real thin spine
Yeah.
that just folds over. Yeah, well, that's something to maybe add to the
Because I
list
have a
there for
hardback.
mock-up images.
You know what?
Yeah.
This one might do the ticket. Look at this, guys. It's blurred because that's not what her resolution is meant to be. But if you brought in a cover that was already horizontal and squished it down, it wouldn't mess up the resolution. It would bring it into focus. And that one doesn't scream spine. So maybe. I don't like to give no for an answer. I'm usually thinking, what can we do in here?
Yeah, it's always fun to brainstorm.
Tell you what, we don't have any free plans, but I can set up, we can do, I'm going to give you a coupon code that will be, I'm going to type it in here, 3-day free. That will give you the gold plan for 3 days for free. And that way you could try it. And if you despise it, then just cancel before that. And then you wouldn't have to pay anything. And it would also bring the gold down. I'm going to do, okay, let me just go to pricing. I'm not super salesy, but here's the pricing. So we have plus gold and platinum. That coupon would do gold at 149. So make it the same price as plus, but it wouldn't charge you for 3 days. So if you want to give it a try and see if you can get something fiddle with it and get it working for you, and then you're off to the races and you keep it, then you're good. But if not, then you could cancel. That's for everybody, not just her. You guys can use it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the difference between the different plans there? Yeah.
Oh, good question. So I didn't even go into, we have a cover creator that you can design covers. And then everything in the custom creator, the start from scratch is in plus. The big difference on gold is the instant mockups. Those are on the gold plan and higher. That was the first tool where they're like all the templates and you just
Yeah.
drop them in there. So gold's the most popular because of that. And so that when I do that coupon code, it's my secret one. It'll bring gold down to plus. So you get gold for 149 and that 3-day trial, just so you don't feel like you're stuck. You know, you can give it a go.
Is that just for the first year?
No, it'll lock it in.
Okay.
It'll be 149 per year.
Nice.
Good question. And then platinum, if you could always step from one to the other later too. The platinum has a trailer creator, and we have a platinum academy quarterly and some platinum mock-ups. So there's more features, but no need necessarily to jump into that right off the bat. I feel like a lot of folks start with gold, and many of them stick with gold, and they're super fine right there. All right. Well, thanks for having me hop in here today. Now I went over. I was trying to be really mindful for you.
Oh, that's okay. This has been great. Definitely a lot to check out. And I know those who aren't familiar with BookBrush are just wowed by this.
Good. That's what we want to make it wow worthy, but also not stressful. Like it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's so nice to have a platform that really tailors things to authors. Because, yeah, when you go to, I mean, Canva and things like that are great, but when they're, like you say, made for multiple purposes, it's kind of hard to narrow stuff down to what you actually need as an author.
I feel like that too. So we wanted to beef up the author options and all those 3D templates and all of that stuff for our author crowd. All right. Well, I'll give you the screen back there.
All right. Was there anything else that we need to cover before we close out for the day?
I think we're set. Just, the bookmark on dates coming up because this is soon, July 24th through the 26th, but it's a great opportunity. I think when you think about what a ticket would cost for any other conference, if it's already part of your membership. So say you did that gold plan for 149 and you have that for the year plus a free conference. Like if you're thinking about it, do it in time to go to the conference because I'm pretty excited about doing it for you guys and would love to have you there.
For sure. I've attended a bookmark con before and I thought it was really handy and informational.
Good, good.
Norma, Brandy, anything else that you can think of before we close out for the day?
No, like we said, this is a lot to digest, and I think this will be an episode that will be rewatched on the replay. And thank you, Kathleen. It's been fantastic. Not super overwhelming that people, I think, checked out, but just very engaging and very informative. And it's been great. Thank you.
I'm typing into the chat. There was a question about the coupon code, so I'll just reiterate for folks. It would bring the gold down to 149 per year, and you can try it for 3 days for free. So that way you can get your feet wet and just make sure it feels like a good fit for you.
Awesome. Thank
And
you.
then just cancel before the 3 days and you wouldn't pay anything.
Mhm. All the more reason for you, all those watching, to join our group, because I will be saving that chat and putting it to our Facebook group. So those who are members of Writers Chat will have access to that.
I really love the Amazon A plus with the big picture that crosses all three graphics. That is really cool.
And we could always come back and do just a session on tackling that or something too. But a lot of people have a lot of good luck with doing the Amazon A plus that way.
Oh, that'd be
That's really
wonderful. We'd love that. Well, I think we're still waiting for a confirmation as far as next week's guest, but we're hoping that maybe we can have something for all of you regarding book cover creation. So this is kind of like a fun thing to spring off of this topic. So hopefully we can get some insight from a cover artist for you by next week. We'll let everyone know in the group later on when we get a confirmation, and hopefully you'll get a little taste of that next week on Writers Chat. Thank you all for joining us. And for those here live, please stick around for the after party afterwards. We would love to have you. And if you aren't here live and you're watching this on YouTube, please join our Facebook group, Writers Chat members on Facebook, and you can be here live to be a part of the party afterwards and get a little chat time in the after party to learn some more information that maybe wasn't shared on the recording. So lots of inside fun stuff that we have there. It's always a great time. Well, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you next week on Writers Chat. Bye all.